Welcome everyone to the final video of the current format of Star Wars Unlimited. As of this week of this recording, we will have pre-releases for A Lawless Time, and on March 14th, A Lawless Time will officially become part of Star Wars Unlimited, causing the rotation to begin where sets 1, 2, and 3 will be pushed out of Premiere, being able to be played with Eternal, with, of course, all these sets as well from 4, 5, 6, and 7. And in Premiere, we will only have access to sets 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I don't know what you're thinking. Tyler, you still have one more week before we officially actually rotate out. Why aren't you looking at 2 more decks of the old format? And I'm glad that you asked that, viewer, because I know you're fiercely typing that down in the comments. Mainly because, in my opinion, once you start pre-release, everyone's kind of ready to rotate. Everyone will be ready thinking about, oh man, what am I playing for Premiere? What decks am I playing? What decks do I need to get ready for if I'm going to PQs or big tournaments so I can get to that sector, so I can get to the Galactic Championship? What am I thinking for all of that? So the week of the 14th, we will actually be starting our look at the Premiere format post-rotation for the format for the Lawless Time meta. I'm not sure if I'm going to look at decks for Eternal or think about Eternal. I'm not completely sure just yet. It kind of matters where my locals is. I know for a fact there will be Eternal PQs as well. Fantasy Flight's already said that they will do that. So we're already expecting Eternal format PQs as well. But I'm not 100% sure just yet if I'm going to cover anything Eternal. If my locals do Eternal, Valkyrie Vault, then I'll definitely record it, but I think right now, for some time, there's a good chance that we will only be doing Premiere format. I'm not sure if everyone's ready for Eternal, because since Eternal said everything's now legal, all the cards we've had on the exclusion list will all be legal in Eternal, and it's going to be a Wild West Cowboy Showdown of Jango Fett's and Han from Spark, and, you know, all those cards coming back to Power and all of that. So I'm not exactly sure if anyone, even at my locals, the 2 I go to, Valkyrie Vault and Bulldog Community Gaming, anyone really wants to do Eternal, because it really just doesn't feel like it'd be a great thing to do. But I don't know, maybe everyone will want to do something with that all together. But nonetheless, I thought the final deck that we want to look at is Sabine ECL. Sabine was one of the decks that I really, really wanted to play when I first got into Star Wars Unlimited. I almost got every piece for Sabine. I was very close to playing it. I think I played it once for a store showdown that I won for. I think that was the set 3 store showdown. And, you know, I was always going to take this to a PQ as well, but I never really did. But I 100% really did enjoy what this deck could do. And while I know it was a menace for years, and I think it's dropped out thanks to, of course, the LOF's meta and SEC meta, where it really hasn't become as potent as it did back in set 3 and 4's meta, where it saw a lot of potency. But nonetheless, I think it's a great deck to take one final look at and say goodbye to. Say goodbye to Sabine and say goodbye to ECL as a base, as well as the second place deck from the PQ in St. Hathian, Canada. So, yeah, so this is a Canadian winning deck. So we're going to take a quick review of the leader, the base, the deck, and then jump to carry bats for our final best 2 out of 3 in the current Premiere format. So Sabine on her front side is action, tapper, deal 1 damage to each base. Action, flipper, epic action is flipper over with control 4 or more resource, deployer for 2/5. On attack, deal 1 damage to your opponent's base. Energy Conversion Lab, or ECL as it is called, active action, play a unit that costs 2 less from your hand, give it ambush for the phase. It kind of is what Dryden Boss does as a leader, but this only has 1 epic action. It does really feel like if you look at a lot of the rare bases from set 5 and even set 7's rare bases, they really don't feel as powerful as we saw for set 1's Target Town ECL, and then sets 4 Data Vault. We really don't feel like we're getting those really powerful rare bases from LOF and from A Lawless Time. But anyways, for the rest of the deck, we have 2 Benthic 2/2 on attack, give another friendly aggression unit. Another friendly aggression unit gains raid 2 for the phase. Triple R2D2, piloting for 0 on heroic. This upgrade can be played on any friendly vehicle with a pilot on it, so basically he can just slip under a pilot as well, meaning that the ship can have 2 pilots on it, and then attached gains. You may play or pay deploy one additional pile on this unit. We're not really going to care about that. R2s are our only piloting card. Triple Rebellious Factioneer comes in hidden. One spec. The Spec Force Soldier, when played, a unit loses Sentinel for the phase, so if we just need to get through a Sentinel or something like that, that's a good card to put down. Triple Battlefield Marine. One Chopper, the legendary from Secrets of Power. When this unit deals combat damage to a base, each player discards a card from their hand. Do be mindful that we do have to discard our own stuff to resolve Chopper. Triple Charismatic, hidden, and when defeated, you may disclose red-white. If you do, create a spy token and ready it. Triple Sabine, Ren. We're really not going to care about the triple aspect part because we're not going to be able to really achieve the triple aspect since we're only going to be, we can get there with white, red, and green, but we would need all three out on the battlefield at any one time. So we're really not going to care about the triple aspect. It's better if you're playing with the Hera Leader from Spark where you can ignore the aspect penalty on all Spectre units. On attack, we need to deal 1 damage to a defender or a base. Triple Cassian Andor for the Smuggle. We always want to smuggle them out for 5, Aggression and Heroic, and then when played using Smuggle, raid this unit. Double Fires for Freedom with Saboteur, and whenever you play a red card or aggression card, you may deal 1 damage to a base. Triple Fleet Lieutenant. When played, you may attack with a Rebel unit. May attack with a unit if it's a Rebel, it gets +2 for this attack. Most of our stuff is Rebels. We have Triple Poe Dameron on attack. Discard 3 cards from your hand. Discard up to 3 cards in your hand for each discard. This way, you may choose a different option that deal 2 damage to unit or base. If you can upgrade, an opponent discards a card from their hand. A good card to ECL out. When you burn your ECLing out Poe and then pitching a couple cards to trigger Poe's effect. And then finally, double Gorilla Attack Pod. Has grit, and then when played, if a base has 50 or more damage, you may ready the unit. For our space units, triple Green Squadron A-Wing with Raid 2, triple Sabine's Masterpiece. We are only really caring about the red and the green here. If we have a green unit out, we give experience token to a unit. This is also another card we actually can EC out into space. If we have a Battlefield Marine out, we can go ECL out Sabine's Masterpiece and then give Sabine's Masterpiece the experience token and then ambush in for 4 damage, which is pretty nice. And survive because we have 4 health. And then if we control a red unit, deal 1 damage to unit or base. We can also do that as well, so Sabine's Masterpiece can kill things with 4 health points in space if need be. And then finally, triple Wing Leader. When played, given 2 experience tokens to another friendly Rebel unit. For our events, we have triple Rebel Assault. Attack with a Rebel unit gets +1 for the attack. Attack with another Rebel unit gets +1 for attack. Like I said, most of our stuff is Rebels. The only Rebel we really don't have is, of course, Cassian Andor is not a Rebel. He is of the Resistance tag. And then finally, triple for a cause I believe in. Reveal top 4 cards of your deck for each heroic card revealed this way. Deal 1 damage to enemy base. You may discard any of the revealed cards and put the rest on top of your deck in any order. We will never be whiffing this card as all our deck has at least the heroic tag besides Benthic 2/2s, but he is a 2 of. For our upgrades, we have double Soga Padawan's Lightsaber attached to a non-vehicle unit. When played, we really don't care. We are not playing Ahsoka in this. We're just here for the +2 attack that we can put on Sabine. And then finally, triple Yoda's Lightsaber attached to a non-vehicle unit. We don't care about the when play because we won't have the Force. We're just caring about that +3/+1 that we can give Sabine. For the side deck, triple Confiscate to defeat any upgrade. 1 more Fires of Freedom. 2 Chams to do love when played. If your opponent controls more resources than you do, put the top card of your deck into play as a resource just in case we are hitting a ramp strategy. And we want to ramp ourselves up a little faster as well. 2 Traitorous. When this upgrade becomes attached to a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less, take control of that unit. When this upgrade becomes unattached to a unit, that unit's controller takes control of it. And finally, 2 Wrecker. So we just need another unit to rip another unit we want to play off of the ECL. We can bring in Wrecker. Wrecker is Overwhelm, and when played, you may defeat a friendly resource. If you do, deal 5 damage to a ground unit. So we can ECL it out, ambush into something, then burn a resource to deal 5 damage to something else, and then potentially kill 2 units for the price of 1 guy. So that is the Sabine ECL deck we are taking. Let's go to Carabas, everyone, for our final premier game of this current format. I'm going to get a little emotional. Not really. Let's get going. All right, folks, this is it. Our match, Boba Data Vault. And from this hand, I think we can make this hand work. Yeah, we can definitely keep this hand. Especially because we are dealing with a space strategy, so we definitely want to have access to our space field right now, and Sabine does get to come out on turn 4. We do need to be cautious. The fact that this strategy does have access to its ramp, does have access to, of course, top of the summit, which all can still be very lethal to us either way. Nonetheless, it's not too bad for a starting hand here. We're starting off in space, which is something I really want to happen. So this is a great way to punish my opponent in space for sure. I'm just waiting for our opponent to decide what they want to do with their hand. What the heck are they putting away? What will they decide to put away? What is their 6th card that look like? They did keep their hand here. They're going to run out of time and get kicked for inactivity. All right. They put their cards away. Okay, we'll start off with an A-Wing. Wow, they're actually starting off the ground here with an HK-47. We'll just claim the initiative here. Nothing wrong with them starting off with that. Not sure why they're having such a problem right now over here in Karabas to move forward. There's not much else you can really do. So they passed on that one. Let's put a 𝐂𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂 away. Let's put out some fighters for freedom. They come fighting for freedom. For all freedom. To everyone with freedom. All right, 2 to our base, 3 to theirs. First Order Stormtrooper, and we will claim. Interesting, Boba has yet... Well, there's a space body. We'll put this away. What we're going to do is we're going to ECL out this trigger to immediately be able to kill the bomber right off of space. And that immediately removes me having to worry about the bomber at all. So 2 damage, 1 indirect. We'll hit the indirect on the A-Wing. And then this should trigger Boba here. So we'll put 1 indirect there. We'll go Fighters for Freedom on the base. As Commander, Fighters for Freedom, whenever I play a red card, I deal 1 damage to my opponent's base. Sabine's Masterpiece is not a red card. It was a weight card, so nothing there. Right now, we've kept them off of bodies and space, and that is kind of important here. We don't exactly need him getting any bodies to do anything right now in space, so I kind of want to keep him off such a thing, so... I don't mind if I can keep him off of space. So attack the base, swing there. What's next for him? So he's attacked with both his units. Just going to claim I am going to deploy Sabine. We're going to hit the base for another, and then we're going to pass. We've already burned the ECL effect, but it might be worth just dropping the Poe Dameron this turn, just because next turn he does have the ability to flip. Boba onto a ship, so that is quite dangerous to us. Would mean quite dangerous to us especially if he flips onto any ship. So that is dangerous to us. So we may want to drop the Poe Dameron this turn because we burnt the ECL effect, so we can't ECL Poe and then trigger Poe's effect. Overwhelming Barrage on K2SO for 4 damage points wherever he wants to put them. I will start taking damage to my own base here because of K2's effect if he kills anything, which in this case he can kill the fighters, and that's basically it, or he could put all 4 damage on Sabine. Not really much else he can do in that way. Okay, so kill the Masterpiece, put a damage on Sabine, basically telling me Sabine is dead here if he attacks it. So we'll do this. So just before Sabine dies, because HK should go after Sabine and kill her. Yep. We're going to drop this, ping damage from the Fighters for Freedom effect. We'll ping 1 more damage over here. This will kill off that, and then I have the 1 extra damage on death, so I'll put that on base. 3 damage there. He still doesn't have a ship to deploy Boba onto, which is fine by me. So he should be taking initiative here to bring out a ship. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna pass. We can put this away. We do have the Guerrilla Attack Pod now. This can come out, folks. So we may be dropping this, and if he goes for a bunch of indirect damage, we can put it all in the Guerrilla Attack Pod because that does buff up its grit standard. So we can do that as well. Or, of course, we can drop a few other things. So he's just going to kill the A wing with the, that, taking another damage there. We are going to drop the Gorilla Attack Pod here. He can't flip and then use Topple the Summit here. So there's nothing he can do about that one. And again, he can't even flip, period, because I have the threat of always Poe being active here. So meaning that as long as Poe is active, I'm always threatening to immediately knock off Boba Fett for the turn. Again, he has to have a Topple the Summit here to really deal me enough damage. Anything, because he could easily do... His Topple does 3 and 3, so he could easily split it 2 and 2. But to kill off both, he'd have to put all the damage into one. So Poe Dameron, we're going to swing the Gorilla. He's probably, if he claims the initiative here, I may just decide to... Okay, so he's going to kill off the Poe with the Boba, which is perfectly fine. We claim the initiative. I don't have a great way to knock out that, and this is probably what's going to kill us, because we don't have a great way to knock out that Boba. Maybe I probably should have swung with Poe and knowing that he was just going to kill him. Probably what I should have actually done now thinking about it. I mean, we're very close. I could stick this under this. So I can pilot the R2 under that. I mean, Devastator, no, Devastator comes out on 8, so I'm not dead to the Devastator. And again, thanks to Grid, he can't, if he damages this, he's just buffing me up. All right, Fleet Lieutenant, hit that. All right, we're winning the game. Fighters for Freedom. Planetary Bombardment to deal 12 indirect damage. 7. So 7. Okay, so they didn't take that. Okay, so they decided just to claim the initiative here. What they're thinking is, their process of thought here is that, Planetary Bombardment does 12. This is 10 here. I only need to put 2 more there, so I just win. So basically, that doesn't kill me. But this does win me the game. I show 4 different... I needed to only show 3 guys, but all my guys have it. So we're going to go to the next game. All right, we won by the power of... For a cause I believe in. All right, so we're going second. No, we don't want to bring in the Chams. And I don't want to bring in another Fighters for Freedom. What I want to bring in is the Confiscate. And, well, you know what? We might as well bring in the Champs of Duelos because he does actually ramp on us. So we would actually might want to ramp a little quicker on him. I'm going to drop the Ahsokas. After that, I think I'm going to drop Cassian down 1 more. And then let's drop the Benthics. All right, that's our deck here. Again, we're bringing in the Confiscates. We could drop the Spec Off Soldier. We brought in the Confiscates, and we brought in the Chams Sedulas. So we're ready to go. This is a good hand. We're gonna keep this hand. This is actually great for us. I think we can put these 2 away. This is great. I mean, we got the Poe Dameron already. We got the Grill Attack Pod. We have the combination between the Fleet Lieutenant and Karis. This is a really good starting hand. If we could just see a Confiscate, I think we can ensure ourselves that we can knock the Boba out off the ship here. So they took them all again. We kept our hand. Okay. We got out of game 1 by the power of the fact that they weren't able to get everything going here. So they weren't able to get space going. And we were able to keep the space frontier pretty well controlled for a good chunk of time. So we'll have to kind of see. I think at this game, if they get their space setup going, I think we're pretty well dead. I think that's my opinion to Boba. If Boba can get its space set up, you're pretty much struggling through the game. So we're going to go for Karis, and then we're going to pass. Confiscate's going to be really nice here. I think I'm going to have to put the Gorilla Attack Pod away, unfortunately. I think because I just want to keep this in hand for for very late game scenario. So we're just going to do this. Again, we could have easily put all the damage on 𝐿 if 𝐿 had swung here, because again, it doesn't matter. 𝐿 immediately is able to create a token. So we're going to hit 5 on the base here. Still got 3 active resources up, so we can be able to claim here. They did a resupply, so we're just going to claim the initiative. A-Wing's real nice here. Let's put away a Fighters for Freedom. All right, so we're going to go 𝐿 into that. Just because if the TIE Bomber swings, I can put 1 more damage on 𝐿, 2 on the Fleet Lieutenant, and then 1 on the base from the Boba, and then I can show a wing to him, and then I can create a readied spy token that can immediately hit for 2 more damage, which in my opinion is very nice. Let's call it war. Deal 3 damage to a unit, and if you have the initiative, you may deal 2 damage to a unit in the same arena. We can kill the 𝐿 Mimic. Done. Waiting for opponent to trigger. I do get to disclose an A-Wing to him. That will create a ready spy token, which we can then immediately swing into the base. Let's call it war. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting play there. 1 and then 2. A-Wing, come on out. Flip Sabine. Deal 1 damage to our bases. Let's flip Sabine. Let's hit the base. Let's pass. We can put a Functioneer away. Maybe I should have burnt the ECL there to ECL out the A-Wing into the Bomber. That might have been a better idea there to immediately be able to have 3 damage already on the Bomber. Then I could swing the A-Wing again at it to kill it off. That might have been the better play. It might have actually been the better play overall. Would have done that pathway instead of what I did. Because honestly, with Top of the Summit dealing 3 damage to all damaged units, he only needs to do 2 here, and then he could do 2 here. Top of the Summit cleans up the board. But then I will just confiscate off the Boba. And then that just puts the TIE Bomber to nothing, and then I can go 𝐂𝐍𝐶 to deal at least 4 damage to his base. And then we can drop the Functioneer as well. Just keep Poe in hand. Yep. Boba, he should be able to topple here. Because otherwise, he doesn't have a way to kill everything on this board without topple. Okay, so no topple. Goodbye. Thanks for playing, son. Great game. Great game indeed. 3 damage. 1 here, 2 here. We're going to bring out the Functioneer. Ruthless Raider. Kill the Functioneer. Sabine into the base. For a cause I believe in. Let's discard and put on top, and put on top. Pass. We're going to put the Poe away just because I don't think it's really worth right now having Poe out there. I think at this point we may just drop the Guerrilla Attack Pod depending on how he swings. If he swings the TIE Bomber here first, Maul, kill that Guerrilla Attack Pod, meaning that the Bomber can push all the damage on the Guerrilla Attack Pod here. I mean, I instantaneously can do 4 indirect damage right to my base. 4 indirect damage to the Guerrilla Attack Pod. Meaning that this attack pod can get even bigger if he decides to just not attack. So that's the thing. He can easily just bait me into not attacking by simply not swinging either of the bombers. So I can easily soft pass. He knows for a fact he attacks with the Bomber. I put all 3 indirect damage onto the Guerrilla Pod. I immediately get my grit active, giving me 3 more damage points on the Bomber. Let's see if he picks up what I picked up. I think he will. There's no reason for him not to take the initiative. Yeah, I kind of baited him into that knowledge there. The fact of like, yeah, I was just gonna eat that one. I mean, I should attack with the gorilla attack pod. That's not gonna matter. The Emperor killed that. I think we are good to concede this game and go to the next one. I don't think we need to stick around for the end of that one. Okay, so what do we want to do? Going first now. I think I'm going to drop one Spec Ops soldier. There's not really much Sentinel in his ground presence, really. I'm going to put in one copy of Wrecker. Yeah, I'm going to put one random copy of Wrecker into the deck. We're going to start off the game here. We're going to... that's actually good for us. We're going to keep... We have the Sabine. I mean, we have the Yoda lightsaber. When we flip Sabine, we have the Confiscate. So I think this turn we'll probably put these two away. While the Gorilla Attack Pod is nice. Okay, they still have to say whether or not they want to keep. All right, so we're going to put the Gorilla and these two away. I mean, we do have Rebel Assault as well, which is pretty nice. So we're going to go this, an 𝐂𝐲𝐻𝐾. We will claim the initiative. We could put a Confiscate away. We really don't need multiple Confiscates. We only really need one, especially if he ramps. Then we can go Champs and Dula to ramp as well. Not much to really do this turn here. Because I kind of wanted to keep this for when we equip it to Sabine, so we can give Sabine more damage. I know there's the debate, should you do the Dark Saber, or should you do Yoda's Lightsaber? Play with either one you want. Which one makes you feel better? So what's his motive? I mean, he can swing 𝐻𝐾 into this and deal 2 damage, but it's not going to kill. We can always ECL out Champs and Dula, funny enough, into something if need be, and if he's got higher power than us, then we can do that. So okay. We're just gonna claim, nothing else to really do. I mean, we really don't have anything we can do. I'm gonna wait until he goes for the super laser tech before I go for the Cham, because I want to know exactly what he's going to do with it. I prefer to wait on that one. 𝐻𝐾 to attack the base. All right. We can put Rebel. Let's put Karis away. Swing, deal 3 damage to the base. Again, this should punch this in the face. Yup. Then we can go ECL out Cham. We can put the top card of our deck and then trigger the ambush. Immediately putting us at 5 as well, and then killing off the 𝐻𝐾-47. 2 indirect. We can put that on Cham. That does kill him off, but he served his purpose. 1 there. We can bring out deploy Sabine. We can attack, then pass. We can put this away. The Gorilla Attack Pod doesn't come out here for much, but again, we do have Confiscate. We do have the Confiscate. We do have the Gorilla. This should be the turn of flipping on that. If he does have Topo, he can easily just kill us with Top of the Summit. If not, we just Confiscate off this, or we just go OB and immediately kill off both of us. We're just going to put out a Mr. Poe Dameron. Well, unfortunately, this may be where this game is now ending. I mean, there's no reason for him not to just deploy him onto this. The problem is I easily just confiscate it. So I think that's his one problem, is he knows I still have a 1 resource standing. He knows I put in Confiscate off my side deck. So he knows for a fact if he has anyway, if he just throws that Boba, yep. He can't use Topple. So we can just get the Boba right off, meaning that we only take 6 damage here from that. We'll do 1 and 1. Reclaim the initiative here. And then we can put this away, and then we can just simply swing at base, trigger the effect. Let's pitch this. Done. We're going to do 2 damage to a unit or base and just do 2 there. All right. We can then bring this out, meaning that this swings, and we just put the 2 indirect right there. And then we just claim. R2, Wing Leader, I think we're done. We can go R2, piloting the Guerrilla Attack Pod here. Unfortunately, we can't put this on a vehicle. Unfortunately, the Guerrilla Attack Pod can't have that on it. 12 indirect damage, so we can go 3 here to put us up to 5. Oh no, 2 there. And then we have to put the other 10. 4. Oh no, he's got me. I can't keep the attack pod and this both alive. So yeah, he got me with that. That's the end of that. Well, folks, that's it. Unfortunately, Sabine was not able to win against Boba, JTL, Data Vault. It really does feel like Sabine really does have some struggling in this meta. For a long time, I think it's really had some struggles. I think it really has just lost that flair. And I know a lot of people thought this would be the best deck going on forever, but it looks not to be that case. But nonetheless, I'm still pleased. We forced a game 3 on the Boba. I just think that we got very unlucky that they got their space going. And once Boba gets their space going, you can't deal with it. You're pretty much well and dead. That's just it. And nonetheless, it was fun. It was one fun last time running Sabine ECL. I want your guys' thoughts down in the comments on Sabine ECL, on the gameplay, on the deck, plus what you guys are most hyped for from A Lawless Time. What decks do you think are going to be the best in the Lawless Time meta? And what do you guys think are going to be the Wild West decks for the Eternal format? And let me know if you guys are going to go attend any of the Eternal PQs, or are you going to wait until Fantasy Flight puts a ban list on the Eternal format? Let me know all of that down in the comments. And as a reminder, next week we start looking at decks for a Lawless Time format. So that will be the post-rotation format, meaning we will only have cards legal from 4, 5, 6, and 7. And as well, guys, go enjoy your pre-release at your local store. Go pull those really good Lawless Time cards all together. Get all your product and get ready for a Lawless Time format. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you next time on Mom Dragons TCG.